Number one contenders being crowned all over the place. On Wednesday night, NXT sees a fatal four-way. And on Lucha Underground, the finals of the Battle of the Bulls. This is your Lucha Underground and NXT review for December 21st, 2016. What is going on, guys? JD from New York here. Thank you so much for tuning into the channel this morning. NXT and Lucha Underground review for December 21st, 2016. Before I get into the review, guys, quickly, I do want to make mention later on today, I am going to have an exclusive off-the-script extra video as we talk about The Miz reportedly going off the script on Renee Young, letting everybody know that Renee Young is obsessed with Dean Ambrose because, indeed, Renee Young is sleeping with Dean Ambrose. According to sources, The Miz is being reprimanded for going off the script on SmackDown Live. I give you my full thoughts and opinions on all that situation. It's developing still, but I give you my thoughts and opinions behind all of that later today, so make sure you guys watch out for that. Tonight, on both NXT and Lucha Underground, we were crowning number one contenders for their both respective championships. NXT Championship and the Lucha Underground Championship. At NXT, there was a fatal four-way in the main event. Andrade Cien Almas, Mr. Strippogram himself, goes against Roderick Strong, the Perfect 10, Ty Dillinger, and Bobby Roode, glorious Bobby Roode, in a fatal four-way. The winner of that goes on to fight Shinsuke Nakamura at NXT TakeOver San Antonio. Royal Rumble weekend. We will crown a new number one contender tonight. And on Lucha Underground, we have the final of the Battle of the Bulls. The winner of that goes on to face either Johnny Mundo or Sexy Star. And the winner of that match tonight in a steel cage match will go on to fight the number one contender at a later date. So it was a very, very important night for both shows. And we're going to start with NXT. We started off NXT tonight with Billie Kay versus Daria Berenato. Now, the women's division, as you guys know, is under some type of reconstruction. The rumor going around right now is WWE is looking to rebuild and replenish that division with a rumored tournament starting in January on the WWE Network, similar to what we've seen with the Cruiserweight Classic to replenish the NXT women's division. Several weeks ago, Billie Kay and Peyton Royce actually left Daria Berenato in the middle of a six-man tag, and they left her to fend for herself against three other opponents, and one of them was Ember Moon. So, since then, Daria has been pretty much wanting to beat up both Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. She got her chance this week, but it was the numbers game that got to Daria Berenato. It was Billie Kay defeating Daria Berenato due to outside interference from Peyton Royce. Peyton Royce took Daria Berenato and slammed her into the ring apron, and then before all was said and done, Billie Kay delivered a big boot to Daria Berenato for the 1-2-3. After the match, Billie Kay and Peyton Royce growing some big fucking balls, man. Calling out Asuka tonight, saying that the women's division runs through them, and if Asuka has any guts, she will step up to the challenge and face both Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. I don't think Asuka will have a problem taking down both women at the same time. Speaking of Asuka, she was interviewed tonight, and in the shadows, lurking once again for a second week in a row, we see Nikki Cross of Sanity. I don't know what's going on with that, but this time we heard Nikki Cross laughing maniacally at Asuka, and Asuka, she just stood there. She stood there looking at Nikki Cross. She smiled, she grinned, holding the championship over her shoulder. That's becoming very interesting, man, and that's something that we might see build towards NXT TakeOver San Antonio. Something very intriguing is brewing, and I would love to see Nikki Cross, who's fucking crazy, go one-on-one with Asuka, man. I think that's going to be a very, very good matchup for Asuka before we get to building towards NXT TakeOver Orlando. And I've been saying it for months now, man. Ember Moon versus Asuka is the money match for NXT TakeOver in Orlando WrestleMania weekend. But right now, it looks like Nikki Cross is going to be the next in line for Asuka. We had the Authors of Pain versus Anthony Bowens and John Ortegun. Now, if you guys recall during the tapings, there was news that was being reported that one of these guys was seriously fucking hurt. I believe it was Anthony Bowens. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe it was Anthony Bowens. But at this point, it really doesn't matter. Both of these guys are local talents. Both of these guys coming out of the Performance Center. And they have the unfortunate task of standing toe-to-toe with fucking Akam and Razor of the Authors of Pain. What I mean, these guys were literally fucking decimated. I swear to God, it was like a fucking Mortal Kombat fatality. Unbelievable. These guys didn't stand a fucking chance. Authors of Pain looking more brutal than usual with these guys. And if you guys seen the clip floating around when the tapings actually finished, they actually kept the scene. They kept the clip. They kept the part where one of these guys was fucking concussed. Now, it was set up where I believe Bowens was clotheslined off the top rope. He landed on his fucking neck. That looks sick as it is. So then Akam and Razor take both of these guys, and in one of their signature moves, a double running power bomb where they slam their opponents' backs into one another. And that was that. So then we see one of the Authors of Pain pick up, I believe it was Anthony Bowen who got concussed. He picks up John Ortegun, power bombs him on his tag team partner, and I believe Bowen's head hit Ortegun right in the face from a power bomb position, and they left all that in. And it was fucking scary, dude. I mean, I was tired as it is going into watching both of these shows tonight. But when I seen that, my eyes widened, dude. The dude that was on the ground, I believe it was Bowens. The dude was twitching. The dude was twitching. And I don't know if the Authors of Pain knew what had been done at that point, but they went to go pick this guy up. This guy could not stand on his own 2 feet. One of the Authors of Pain picked him up, and the only way this guy was standing was because he was slumping over into the Author of Pain. I can't tell these guys apart. Akam, Razor, good luck telling them apart. Authors of Pain number 1, whatever. But this guy was fucking slumped over. Thank God the official did his job excellent. He stopped the match because they were about to do their fucking finishing move, the final chapter. That leg sweep into the clothesline, this guy would have been fucking killed. He would have been killed with the impact of that move after fucking being concussed. These guys didn't know what was going on. Thank God he stopped the match. They stopped the match. They rang the bell. Everything got silent. This guy was fucking twitching. He didn't know what the fuck was going on, man. Trainers came in. It was ugly. It was ugly. It was bad on the clip that we seen as soon as the tapings ended weeks ago. They kept it in the fucking taping tonight for the WWE Network. It was fucking scary. I hope that guy's all right. They kept him in a local medical facility for a few days following that incident. I can see why. It was bad, and I'm hopeful that this guy is going to come out okay, because that was a scary situation. After the bell, after everything that had transpired, Paul Ellering declared that all roads lead to San Antonio for the Authors of Pain, who are on a seek and destroy mission. I could see that. They destroyed this guy's fucking life tonight. And it's going to be against DIY or whoever the champions might be, because the Revival, before we get to TakeOver, will be getting their rematch. They will be invoking their rematch clause against DIY, and that's going to be fucking awesome. So the winner of that at NXT TakeOver San Antonio will be going 1-on-1, or 2-on-2, I should say, against the Authors of Pain for the NXT Tag Team Championships. Bobby Roode, Ty Dillinger, Roderick Strong, and Andrade Strippergram Almas for a fatal 4-way match, number 1 contender for the NXT Championship. This match was fucking awesome, man. All over the place. Typical fatal 4-way here. And in the end, we seen Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode was the only one that made sense here. They really did a great job at making you believe Ty Dillinger was going to go on his way to NXT TakeOver San Antonio and go one-on-one with Nakamura. They did a very, very good job, a very believable job at Ty Dillinger coming so close, but could not do it against Bobby Roode. Ty Dillinger is so fucking great at what he does, and he always comes up short. Ty Dillinger is quickly becoming a feel-good story, man, and no matter how many times he loses, to me anyway, and to a lot of people, Ty Dillinger is always going to be a winner, man. You're always going to be cheering that type of guy. No matter how many times he loses, he always comes up so close. And I mean fucking close. Tiebreakers. He went for a fucking top rope tiebreaker on Bobby Roode. Couldn't get it done. He eventually ate a spine buster and a fucking glorious DDT, and that was it for Bobby Roode. They came down to those two. The first elimination, it was an elimination match, by the way. First elimination was Almas. He was the first one gone. He did his double knee finisher in the corner to Ty Dillinger, and Roderick Strong countered that. Almas had his back turned, and Almas ate a sick kick from Roderick Strong, and Almas was the first one eliminated by Roderick Strong. After that, Ty Dillinger eliminated Roderick Strong with a tiebreaker, and that left Ty Dillinger and Bobby Roode one-on-one for the majority of this match. Came down to those two, and like I said, Bobby Roode was the obvious choice here. And I'm surprised they're going with Bobby Roode versus Nakamura already, man. I really am. It's a very difficult situation now that we have this match confirmed. And Samoa Joe, I mean, there's going to be more tapings before NXT TakeOver San Antonio. I'm wondering if Joe gets involved again. I really am, because I can't see Nakamura losing the title so soon. He just won it back. I can't see Nakamura losing again. You know? That would be one too many times in a span of a month and a half. Nakamura is too special for that to happen. Bobby Roode's so hot, I can't see him lose either. So what the fuck do you do? I would not be surprised if we see Samoa Joe inserted in this to make it a triple threat. That's what I thought they were going to do. From the get-go. Joe wasn't at these tapings at all. I believe he's hurt. He said that he's hurt. He's not medically cleared to come back to in-ring action yet. Hopefully it's not serious. I'm also hearing rumors that Joe and AJ Styles are going one-on-one at WrestleMania for the WWE Championship. We'll be talking about that on Off the Script. That's the latest rumor going around. But as far as NXT goes, Joe is on his way to the main roster. Either Raw or SmackDown, hopefully SmackDown. But that doesn't mean he can't be inserted into the NXT Championship match to make it a triple threat and then debut at the Royal Rumble. It's not out of the question. You know, Kevin Owens was the WWE NXT champion, and he debuted on the main roster, beating John Cena. It's not out of the question. But I can't see Nakamura or Bobby Roode losing. And I think it's too soon. Roode is the next in line. Roode is the next in line to be NXT champion. But I can't see him losing yet. So I figured you insert Samoa Joe in there, you make it a triple threat, and you have either Nakamura retain the title by pinning Joe again in a triple threat, which means he keeps the title. Bobby Roode doesn't take a loss. He takes a loss, but he's not pinned. And then Bobby Roode stakes a claim. Listen, I was not beat. Nakamura didn't pin me. I want my rematch. And you build towards WrestleMania between Nakamura and Bobby Roode. And at NXT TakeOver Orlando WrestleMania weekend, you crown a glorious NXT champion. That's the way I'm thinking. That's the way I'm thinking right now. And I know you guys are thinking the same thing. But tonight, Glorious comes out on top. Bobby Roode is indeed Glorious, number one contender right now. As we see it, it's one-on-one. Nakamura versus Bobby Roode. It's going to be the battle of the entrances. Who's going to outdo who? At San Antonio. Going to be fucking awesome. But Ty Dillinger, man, I'm expecting big things from Ty Dillinger. I really am. They're making him look good even in defeat, and I like that. He's come so close, and that's easy to get behind. That's easy for the fan to follow and get behind, and when it does happen, and when he does win the big one, because he's not going to lose forever, it's going to be fucking great, and people are going to pop. So I like what they're doing with Dillinger. We might see him debut on the main roster as well, but as of right now, Bobby Roode is indeed Glorious. He's the number one contender, and right now it's Nakamura versus Roode at NXT TakeOver San Antonio Royal Rumble weekend. Lucha Underground, we got the Battle of the Bulls, Fatal 4-Way Elimination, and Sexy Star versus Johnny Mundo in a steel cage for the Lucha Underground Championship. Lucha Underground tonight, guys. December 21st, 2016. We got the Battle of the Bulls concluding. Number one contender will be crowned for Johnny Mundo's, or Sexy Star. Johnny Mundo's right now, though, number one contender for his World Championship, Lucha Underground World Championship. And Johnny Mundo, speaking of him, he's defending that Lucha Underground Championship against Sexy Star in a steel cage in the main event. This episode had a fatal four-way. It had a steel cage. It had storylines mixed in. So it was a pretty good episode, man, all around. We opened up with the Battle of the Bulls final, fatal four-way elimination. We had David Arquette in the crowd. I didn't notice him at first, and then I had to rewind on my DVR to see who these guys were talking about. Matt Stryker mentioned Hollywood Stars in the crowd. I'm like, oh shit, it's David Arquette, former WCW champion. What a fucking travesty that was, if you guys remember that. But he was in the temple. He was in L.A. watching Lucha Underground tonight. And PJ Black, the Mac Cage, Jeremiah Crane. Jeremiah Crane was my favorite going into this match. I was hoping he came out on top and became number one contender. Now, tell me if I'm not crazy, man. Jeremiah Crane, again, I'm wondering what the fuck happened to this guy in NXT. They let this guy off his leash, clearly, in Lucha Underground. But they held him back so much in NXT, man. What a fucking waste. And clearly, it's WWE's loss. This guy's doing great shit right now in Lucha Underground. But I'm looking at Jeremiah Crane, and for some reason, I thought of Raven tonight. I see some resemblance, not many, but they're there. Some light similarities to old school Raven in ECW. I love that silent craziness, man. He's just fucking, he's just crazy. And he just unleashes all that craziness in the ring. But tonight, elimination, we had Cage, surprisingly, started out like a house on fire. He was eliminated first. Surprisingly, I thought Cage was actually going to be one of the final two. But he was eliminated first. Cage eliminated due to outside interference from Tejano. And I'm glad they're going back to that, and we're going to pick up that right away. Remember, he and Tejano are in a best-of-5 series for an ultimate opportunity set forth by Dario Cueto, who we only seen once on the show tonight, which was very sad. More Dario Cueto, the better. But Cage was eliminated due to Tejano, and he came in, interfered. Cage was eliminated, and they pretty much all hit their moves. PJ Black ended up getting the pin on Cage, and he was eliminated. So that was pretty surprising. Like I said, I thought Cage was going to go to the end. So we have Jeremiah Crane, PJ Black, and the Mac left. We got Crane and PJ Black going at it. Next elimination, my guy Crane was eliminated, man. And I thought he was going to go on to win it with fucking Cage eliminated. I'm like, you know what? This kind of opens up the favorite for Jeremiah Crane to win this thing. And he ended up fucking falling to the Mac. Stunner from the top rope. 1, 2, 3. Jeremiah Crane was eliminated. Before that, he actually hit PJ Black with his finisher, the cranial contusion. That's a great fucking move, man. I love that move. It's like, I don't know, it's like a package fucking pile driver. Beautiful fucking move. But PJ Black rolled out of the fucking ring. Great veteran awareness there by PJ Black. And then after that, the Mac took advantage. Top rope stunner. 1, 2, 3. And Crane was eliminated. We got the Mac and PJ Black. Say that fucking 10 times fast. 1-on-1 to crown a new number one contender. We got Black and Mac. They're trading blows towards the end of the match. Black hits a stunner on Mac. He no-sells it. And then hits a stunner of his own for a 1, 2, 3. So we had PJ Black hit a stunner on Mac. Didn't do a goddamn fucking thing. Mac showed him how it's done. 1, 2, 3. Stunner eliminates PJ Black. The Mac wins the Battle of the Bulls tournament, and he is now the number one contender for the Lucha Underground Championship, man. I don't have any problem with that at all, man. I like the Mac. I think he's fucking great. I think he's athletic. For a man his size, the way he moves, man, I find enjoyment in that, man. I find that to be very impressive. And I'm going to like the dynamic between the Mac and Johnny Mundo, man. I think it's going to be a very good match. Mac is athletic as fuck for his size. We all know what Johnny Mundo could do. I think it's going to be a great match, man. Very interested to see what those two guys do in the ring for the Lucha Underground Championship. Phoenix and Aerostar, they're looking for Drago. They can't seem to find them. They're in the fucking basement of the temple. They're looking in the fucking bathrooms, graffiti all over the wall. They look through each fucking stall. And then, like a scene out of the fucking first Mortal Kombat movie, we see Cobra Moon and her tribe with these two fucking reptile guys, the tattooed guy. I know you guys told me their names, but I don't remember their names right now. But, like a scene in Mortal Kombat 1, these guys are fucking brawling all over the bathroom. And in the end of this thing, you got fucking swinging from the light posts, and you're fucking slamming into mirrors, and you're slamming into bathroom doors. In the end, Cobra's reptile tribe, they lay waste to Phoenix and Aerostar, and Drago is fucking somewhere, man. He's fucking captive. He's a prisoner. He's a prisoner of Cobra Moon. So they left them wasted there in the bathrooms, and that was that. So it was a pretty cool scene, pretty cool fight scene there. Detailing what's going on with this storyline. We go on to Sexy Star. Sexy Star in her locker room. Mac comes in. Mac is pretty much hyping up Sexy Star. And Sexy Star is congratulating Mac on his win. He's the #1 contender. And they go back and forth. Now Mac says it's her turn to win the title back. First two-time Lucha Underground champion. And Mac says, you know what? I'm going to be facing you for the title. I know you're going to win tonight. And then Sexy Star says it's going to be a pleasure and an honor to defend the title against you when I win it tonight from Johnny Mundo. So that was all that. Obviously, I hope that's not the case, but it should be a good match anyway, man. I always enjoy some good steel cage action. We go to Dario Cueto's office. This is where the show kind of took a turn. We had that Fatal 4-Way, which took up a bulk of the beginning of the show, and then we have the steel cage match, and there was really nothing in between, so they took the time this week to build storylines and progress storylines, which I can appreciate. I can definitely appreciate that. We got Dario Cueto in his office. Jeremiah Crane, after losing, I wish he would have won, he walks into the office. He's asking for a match. Crane sets up a chair and removes a tile from Dario's ceiling. Dario's like, what the fuck are you doing? At this point, I didn't know who he asked for in a match. But he goes into the ceiling, he removes the tile, and he pulls something down that looked like a board game or a wooden board with like fucking carvings on it. He takes it from there, and Dario's like, what the fuck are you doing? What's up there? And Jeremiah Crane was like, he left this here when he was a kid. Dario's like fucking confused out of his mind. So then we see Jeremiah Crane walking down the hallway, and the lights start to flicker as if the fucking place is haunted. Start calling Zach Bagans. Maybe we can fucking get an investigation going down there at the temple. All of a sudden, we see Katrina. She's CGI'd into the fucking frame. And Jeremiah Crane tells Katrina that he has a match with Pascual Mendoza, which I'm assuming that's Mil Muertes. And Jeremiah Crane says he will make him wish that she let him die in that earthquake. And he'll have her all to himself. What a lucky man he'd be if he has Katrina all to himself, man. I'd be very envious. So, looks like we're getting Jeremiah Crane versus Mil Muertes next week. That's something to look out for, man. I think that's going to be fucking awesome. I don't know what's going on with that, but by the looks of it, looks like Jeremiah Crane's going to be fucking buried 6 feet under if he keeps talking to Katrina that way. You don't take Mil Muertes lightly, man. Seriously. So, hopefully we will see that next week. And, again, very intriguing, very interesting developments here on Lucha Underground. Sexy Star versus Johnny Mundo in a steel cage for the Lucha Underground Championship. Now, Sexy Star got this match because she beat PJ Black, and then obviously the rest of the Worldwide Underground tried to help PJ Black win last week. They failed. Sexy Star beat PJ Black in what was a very, very good match. One of the better Sexy Star matches that I've seen this year. And Dario Cueto says if she did not win, she gets not another championship title shot. That's it. But if you win, I'll give you Mundo in a cage for the title. And if you don't beat Mundo, that's it. You're done. No more title shots. So this was, if Sexy Star did not win it, this was her last opportunity for the Lucha Underground Championship. Back and forth, there really wasn't anything all that spectacular in this match. There was a sequence where Johnny Mundo had her in a fireman carries position, and he rammed her head into every part of the steel cage, all four corners. That was pretty cool. There was a nice spot where Johnny Mundo was standing on the top rope, holding on to Sexy Star's leg, and she kicked his leg from out underneath him, and he pretty much had a hangman right in between his legs on the top rope. That was pretty cool. But other than that, it was back and forth. Sexy trying to go over the cage. Johnny Mundo grabbing her just in the nick of time, holding on to her boot. And back and forth. You know, there was a nice little spot where they went around the cage from the inside of the ring. You know, pretty much tight walking the top rope. That was pretty cool. But other than that, I mean, it was a very, very basic steel cage match. There wasn't really anything that was in your face. The only high spot of the match that we seen was Sexy Star. Instead of, you know, beating Mundo, she had an opportunity to escape the cage. But instead, she stood on the cage. Johnny Mundo fell off the top rope. Instead of escaping and winning the title, she wanted to be fucking Superfly Jimmy Snuka. And she dove off the top of the cage. Big crossbody. Close near fall. That was the only high spot of the match. Now, the end of the match, if you love heels, then you are going to love what Johnny Mundo did. If you're a fucking casual and you want to pretty much curse out Johnny Mundo for his bullshit artist ways and his cheap tactics, then you're going to fucking hate the ending. I loved it. I love a good fucking heel, man. A good heel is very difficult to find. What Johnny Mundo did is something that I would do if I was in the situation he was in. You're in a steel cage match. There's no rules. By any means necessary, you do what you got to do to keep the title. Johnny Mundo took off Sexy Star's mask. We did not see her face. She quickly hit the ground. She concealed her face. The mask was in the ring. She crawled over to the mask. The referee, Marty Elias, went to go help her to see how she was doing. While this was all going on, Johnny Mundo quickly jumped up to the cage, climbed over the top, won the match, and retained the Lucha Underground Championship. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Both Matt Striker and Vampiro saying that it was a despicable act. Both of them were just saying for years and years and years, centuries, the luchadors and their mask, you know, signifies great importance, and you cannot disrespect that. Johnny Mundo just pissed all over that fucking tradition tonight, and it was fucking great. Sexy Star was clearly hurt. Sexy Star was clearly upset and just stunned at what happened. She was visibly upset. And as Johnny Mundo was walking up the staircase, leaving the temple with the title, bragging, we had the Mac waiting at the top, and he delivered a stunner to Johnny Mundo, and the show went off the air with Sexy Star giving him a heart, and then the Mac holding up the title as he is now the #1 contender for Johnny Mundo's world title, man. Very, very good episode. Main event, I'm just glad Sexy Star's out of the main event, really. It wasn't anything all that impressive for a steel cage match. I expected better, but it was passable for a main event. That ending really made the whole match for me, and I'm glad to see that, you know, Mundo really being a prick. I love that, man. It's very difficult to find good heels, and Johnny Mundo did exactly what a good heel needs to do. Win by any means necessary. At the end of the show, we see Drago chained up in Cobra Moon's fucking throne room. Cobra Moon asks if he is ready to call her queen yet. He says never. He screams. She offers to feed him. He doesn't want to eat. Says he'd rather starve. And then all of a sudden, as the show goes off the air, we see Drago scream, and he shoots fire out of his mouth. That's the way the show ends. But all in all, very good night of wrestling. We got NXT #1 contender, Bobby Roode. We got Johnny Mundo retaining the Lucha Underground Championship, and we got his next challenger lined up, which is the Mac, who won the Battle of the Bulls tournament, Fatal 4-Way Elimination tonight. And that was it. That's it, man. That's your Lucha Underground and NXT review for December 21st, 2016. Like I said, keep an eye on the channel. I got an off-the-script extra with The Miz reportedly going off the script, no pun intended, against Renee Young on SmackDown, saying that she is sleeping with Dean Ambrose. So a lot's going on there. Big developing story with that. I give you my opinion on what I thought of the whole segment in depth, so make sure you guys tune into that. And then obviously Friday, Off the Script, episode 149. Until then, hit that thumbs up. I'm JD, and I'll see you guys right back here later today with Off the Script Extra, and then tomorrow with Off the Script, episode 149. I'll talk to you later.